Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to Life, Beauty, and Inspiration. It's your girl Keemah.G. Who else would it be? I'm back again with another video, and I thought about what I could speak about this week, and the only thing that came to my mind was rejection. I have touched a bit on rejection in the past in certain videos, but I didn't go fully into it. I think that if we're not careful on how to deal with rejection and how to heal from rejection, we are going to end up spiraling down, and we're going to get lost in the sauce because we feel that that rejection is actually telling us that we're not good, or we're not, capable enough to be in a committed, loving, understanding relationship that we desire. And I don't believe that rejection only comes in the form of a relationship. Rejection could come from anything. You could be going for something for your life and really putting your whole heart into it, and then when you finally get there, you're not received the way that you hope that you would be received, and that's a form of rejection when you're told no. Rejection overall is hard. So today with you guys, I'm going to share with you guys some things that I've learned on how to deal with rejection and how to heal from rejection. So let's get started. These are some of the things that you'll hear, especially in a relationship. I'm gonna really stick to relationships when you're being rejected, okay? Take it from me. You're gonna hear things like, I'm just not ready for a relationship right now. Okay, so if you're not ready for a relationship, that's cool, but you still wanna act like we in some type of relationship and I belong to you, right? That doesn't slide. If you're gonna reject me and let me go. Don't reject me and try and keep me around to save me, to weigh your options, weighing about that life. I'm still trying to work on myself. I just came out of a relationship. We have to get to know each other. It takes time for us to get to know each other. We have to be friends. Okay, don't get me wrong. Some of those things that people say, I agree with them. I do agree. I do agree that sometimes people speak exactly from their heart and they're giving you the real reasons why you're being rejected. But I also believe that rejection is hard. Rejection, if you do not understand it and interpret it the way the person is giving it to you, and you misinterpret it, you can end up thinking a whole bunch of things about yourself that are not true. And sometimes people use these excuses because they're full of shit. You understand? Sometimes they want to keep you around. You understand? Because for you, you are a benefit to them. You keep them company. And I'm speaking men and women. I don't care if you've been rejected by a man, you've been rejected by a woman. Regardless of what it is, when you're in a relationship, sometimes the rejection is coming from the purest place of that person's heart. And other times, it's not coming from the purest place of that person's heart. And how do you really determine? Regardless of what it is, what I've learned is that even if it's coming from the purest place, even if it's not coming from the purest place, at the end of the day, what the person is telling me is that what we are working towards, or what I thought we were working towards, is not going to happen for the moment. And even if it's done in the most honest way possible, at the end of the day, it's still a rejection. It still pierces through the heart. It still hurts. It still hurts. And we got to acknowledge that hurt. So how I've learned to deal with rejection, number one, is to accept the fact that it's hurt, to accept the pain. So many times we try to run away from the pain of rejection. I'll give an example, and this is how I did it. I tried to run away from the pain of rejection, so what did you do? What did I do? I stayed. And I was like, oh no, give him some time, like he'll figure it out, and we'll work through this. It's just that he's not ready right now. But what I wanted in my heart, you understand, was not that. And yes, sometimes you could have that conversation and you could communicate and just say, I need more time. But he has to say that he needs more time. She has to say that she needs more time. I can't determine whether he needs more time and he's telling me he's not ready for a relationship. You understand what I'm saying? It just doesn't make any sense. So you have to, instead of trying to avoid the pain, and that's what I did, try to avoid the pain, I stayed, because staying is better than leaving. I have learned to deal with that pain, sit in that pain, understand that pain, because we don't understand pain. And if we understood pain and we understood that pain is trying to show us something rather than trying to destroy us, we wouldn't think of it in such a bad way, and we wouldn't try to run from it every 5 seconds. So the one thing that I've learned to deal with, one thing that I've learned to do and how to deal with rejection is to accept it. Accept it for what it is. Deal with the pain and go through it, but accept. Number 2, we have heard this so many times. So many times. And I'm gonna speak, because I like to speak to the ladies, you know what I'm saying? I speak to the women. And as women, I'm gonna admit something to you guys, women. We like to control situations, okay? We like to control situations. We're natural born leaders, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need to lead all the time, but we have great leadership skills. And sometimes those leadership skills take control of certain situations, and we feel like we could save the world. Because all we want to do is love and make everything great. And sometimes when we can't do that, we let it go, and always know that it has nothing to do with you. We have heard this so many times, and as many times as we hear this, we still don't believe it. We still try to find reasons to blame ourselves. We still try to find reasons to blame ourselves, because I feel like in some way, if we can blame ourselves for the reasons why it's not going or it didn't work out the way that we planned it to work, that we could control it in some type of way. Like, if I know that something hasn't worked out, I could be like to myself, okay, well, it didn't work out because of this, so I need to change this, and I need to change that. Nah, sis, you don't need to change that. You understand? Who said you need to change that? You know, what if that's one of your greatest qualities that everyone loves, and because that person is not good with it, you're gonna change that now? No. When you experience rejection, and what I've learned, and what I've constantly had to tell myself, because it's hard not to point the finger at yourself. It's hard not to take the blame for yourself, especially if you're like me, and you're a person that's hard on themselves. You're gonna say, what did I do wrong? All the time. I did it in friendships, I did it in relationships, you're gonna say that. But most of the time when you're experiencing rejection, it's definitely not about you. How many times have we heard that quote? God's rejection is for your protection. We know it. We know it. So sometimes you're being rejected and you don't clearly understand the reason why. But let me tell you something. God always reveals the reason why, okay? He always does. If you just keep at it and you stay straight and you hold your corner, you deal with your pain and you move forward, you will understand it eventually why that person wasn't necessarily for you. The third thing, how I learned to deal with rejection, is not to live in it. Heal from it. Don't stay there and waddle in my own shit of pity and sadness. You understand? Break through. It is so easy to fold and close when shit doesn't go right. It is so easy to do that. It is so easy to do that. Can you imagine how much effort it takes for you to be like, the shit didn't go right, he didn't see all this greatness in me, but I'm gonna pick my ass back up, keep doing me, get better at being me, and move forward. The rejection could be telling us something. You understand? And we're not clear exactly what it is. But until we know, heal from it, grow from it, pick yourself up, and keep working on yourself. That's the only thing that you could do. You can't do anything else. Because if you try, it's either you're going to stay there and he's going to constantly subject you to rejection, take it from me. And what's going to end up happening is that you're going to grow a bitterness, a sadness, an emptiness. Your confidence, your self-esteem is going to be shot to the ground. Don't do it, sis. Get up, know your worth, keep pushing. God has someone for you. There's 7 billion people in the world. You know what I'm saying? 7 billion people in the world. Take it from me. I'm learning my lesson at 33. I'm learning, growing, healing, transforming. Right? So, moving along. How did I heal from rejection? Dealing with rejection, I accepted it. I didn't blame myself. That's how I dealt with it. And I learned to heal. I took the responsibility and I said to myself, you have to heal from this situation. And the one thing that I did when I wanted to heal from rejection is that I spoke about it. I know my friends, if you watch this video, you're gonna be laughing because they know I can talk. But I spoke about it. I spoke about it and I got my feelings out. I let my feelings be known. I shared my thoughts. When I was down, I knew who to talk to. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's like it's the end of a relationship. Any end of a relationship takes those mourning stages. You have to go through the mourning process. You have to mourn the relationship. So what helped me a lot is that I went out there, and when I was feeling like shit because I was missing the person, I would call my girl Kathleen. You understand? Because we don't always, When we cry on the phone, we know it's something deep. So I would call Kathleen, I would call Annabelle. You know exactly who to speak to. And I went to those people for support, and I really spoke my feelings. I spoke my heart. I spoke what was deep in my heart, and I did not hold it in, because the more you let it out, is the more you start to gain understanding, and is the better you feel. And then after, you create a space where you could really heal, and you know who to go to. So speak about it. Speak about your feelings. Know who to speak about it to, because you don't want to be crying on the wrong person's shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Just know who you to speak to. Know who's going to listen to you. Know who's going to empower you in this time that is very weak in your life. You know what I'm saying? The second thing that I did to really get me through this healing process of rejection, you rejected, I literally started to focus on my own desires. I firmly believe that if you are in a situation where things are uncertain for a long time, it kind of takes you away from your goals and your desires, at least for me. When you are uncertain in certain relationships, meaning having unhealthy relationships that are not contributing to your health, and it's stringing you along and keeping you on the fence, you tend to slip away from the things that you desire in life, and you lose focus. So what I did in that time of my healing process of rejection is that I learned to get more focused on my own desires, and really tune into them, like dive into them. You know what I'm saying? And from there, I was able to really focus on something other than focusing on the pain. And at the same time, I knew if I did have to focus on the pain and I got myself caught up in my feelings, I had someone to call, like I said in the beginning. So speak it out. Get refocused. The third thing I did when I was healing is that I avoided speaking to men at that point. Like, I didn't avoid it in a way, but I said to myself that right now, I know my heart is not at ease. And for me to speak to somebody knowing that I'm trying to get over the rejection and the end of a relationship, I'm not going to throw myself in there and be baggage to somebody else. So that whole saying where to get over one man, you get with the next man, it's bullshit. Okay, no, that's because you can't stay by yourself and you're lonely and you're trying to avoid your feelings. Like, I don't want to criticize anybody that does that, but if you do that, that's great. If that's what works for you, that's fine. But if that relationship doesn't work out, you still have to heal from the one that you never healed from in the beginning. And then you still have to heal from that one. Don't jump around. Take it from me. Heal for yourself and then move on, because when you're an unhealed person, you go around breaking other people. And I didn't want to do that. So after every rejection, I kind of said to myself, you need to heal from this. So when you present yourself in front of another man, you'll be confident, you know your worth, you know. And did it always work out like that? Not all the time, but as I learned to say, no, this is the healing process. What do I have to learn from my situation? I can't invite anybody into my space right now, because I wouldn't be able to give them exactly what I know I could give them when my heart is still trying to heal. Okay? The fourth thing that I did is that I trusted God. Now, I always talk about my God, because at a point in time in my life, I didn't even, I'm ashamed to say this, but I'm gonna be shameless about it though. I didn't believe in God. I had stopped believing in God. And when I started to rekindle and restore my relationship with God, I started to lean on Him. And I said, God, like, get me through this rejection. Like, get me through this time where I really feel that this relationship was gonna work for me. Like, get me through this time. And I had to stay optimistic. And I'm talking about this because it's not something that's old. Some things are close to the surface when relationships didn't work out. It could be any relationship. And I had to learn how to be optimistic going forward. I tried not to bash the person for wasting my time, because I was just like, there was definitely a part of that person that I really truly loved at some point in time, and I still do. And not because he doesn't want what I want that I'm going to hate him. No, I'm not. Because sometimes you could grow a little bitter after rejection, and you gotta be careful of that. So it's very important for you to trust God. And if you believe in God, whatever you believe in, if you believe in God, if you believe in meditation, if you believe in, I don't know, whatever you believe in, but whatever you're holding faith with, hold on to that faith and be optimistic, and know that there is I think there's 8 billion people now in the world, or whatever, 7 billion or 8 billion people. At the end of the day, there's somebody for everyone. God put you on this earth not to be by yourself. And as long as you know that, and as long as you stick to that, somebody will come your way that you're determined to be with, and who's determined to be with you. And together it would mesh. That is how you have to stay optimistic, because your mind and your thoughts control everything. And this is what I've learned. Your mind and your thoughts control everything. So if you're thinking that I'll never find him again, I'll never find a man like him again, or like, if you're thinking like that, chances are it will happen. You got to think that I'm going to find that man, By 35, I'm gonna have a ring on my finger. And not that a ring validates you neither, so don't get that twisted. But if you want that ring and you think it's important to you, go ahead, girl. But you know, like, you have to speak what you want into your life. So I want that husband. I want that God-fearing husband that's loving, that's understanding, that's communicating. Make me into the wife, Lord, that you need me to be. Build me up. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe there's certain things that I need to work on too. Allow me not to put myself into a situation like that. Allow me to understand that the rejection is not about me. Allow me to understand that the rejection is trying to redirect me to the person that you want me to be with. And maybe it's just not the time. Not everybody makes excuses, you know? Some people do, like I said before, and some people don't. Some people are coming from the purest parts of their heart, and some people are not coming from the purest parts of their heart. They're just full of shit. And you have to learn how to distinguish between the two. I can't really tell you because I ain't sitting in your relationship, but what I could tell you is how I learned to deal and heal from rejection. So, I hope this video served you guys well. And leave me your comments, you know, let's have a dialogue here. Tell me how you feel about rejection. Tell me what's up. Like, tell me your stories. I'm so eager to listen to them and to hear what you guys have to say, because I know rejection is tough. So if you're going through rejection right now, if you've experienced rejection, keep your head up. Keep your head up. Know your worth. Keep your head up. And maybe you just weren't for that person, and maybe that person wasn't just for you, or maybe it's just not the time. My friend once told me, I do love him. He told me one time that timing is everything. Trust the time, Key. And I'm learning to trust the time. And so, as always, from my journey to yours.